When I've been driving for a couple of hours and I've got another hour to go and the body's beginning to stiffen up a bit, I begin to worry about the merits of all this. But strangely, as soon as you get those Syndicate gates open, you turn into Nijinsky. Now for you youngsters, it's either a racehorse or a ballet dancer. Take your choice. Welcome to the Journeyman's Tales. Here we go, look at that. 3:45, the rods had only been out a couple of hours. Middle one ramped off, 24 pounds, 13 ounces. What a cracking start to the session. And I will give you all the information, how it's done in the morning. Absolutely thrilled with that. Cracking start. Whoa. Fantastic. Excellent. Get the rod out, get some more. Built-in start, well pleased. Well, welcome to another Journeyman's Tales. Where am I? Exactly where I was a couple of weeks ago. I was hoping maybe to get on the other side of the lake, but it's very busy over there. This side was empty. I looked at Unity and that's again very busy, but the swim I was in last time was open and the one next door, so I've gone for a repeat performance. I thought, well, I was catching last time. The only difference is this time is they have cut the weed since I was here last time, so hopefully that will cut down on the potential losses. And yeah, the rods were only out a couple of hours and the middle one roared off. Had a fantastic 24 pound, a great start to the session. When I first got here, I put in a dozen of the large bombs of the hent and crushed nuts, and then a few catapulted pouches of the tiger nuts over the top, much the same as last time. The only thing I've added in this time is some crushed tiger nuts, and I've made up some sticks which I'll go in detail about tomorrow. So in the meantime, I'm going to have my tea. Hopefully later on they'll be back on the munch again. Fabulous. Sun shining, it's not pouring with rain, the sun's disappearing behind the trees. Great times. just after 6 o'clock in the morning, after an incredibly busy night. I'll fill you in about that later. And the middle rod again, 22 pound, 14 ounces, and it fought like an absolute demon. It is still fighting actually. It's got to be a male. Absolutely battled and battled and battled, and I was reluctant to put too much on it in case the hook all went. But there we go. She's, oh, he actually, I think it is. Still wants to put up a fight. Marvellous. Get her back, get some more. Excellent. Well, good morning. I did say after that fish I'd give you an update. Well, I'll give you a quick one while I'm having my coffee. It was a crazy busy night. I got a run just after 11 on the right hand rod this time. It went off on a storming run off towards the island. I think it went past the island at one pace. Unless it disturbed another fish. There was a roll by the island. And played it all in nice and calmly. Remember, they've cut the weed, so there's no weed problem out there. Got it into about 3 rod lengths out, and off it went. So, lost fish. Mind you, I'm going to stop calling it a lost fish because I didn't lose it. I didn't do anything wrong. I wasn't abusing it. I was taking my time, and the hook just pulled. Now I can't explain that. And it's been happening quite a bit. I have looked at what I'm doing, but it's not me. I'm sure it's not me. I'm sure it's just the shape of their mouths, unfortunate hook holds. I don't know. Anyway, lost fish. And from then on, it was like buzzers going off alternately every 3/4 of an hour. Some of them were just taking the bobbin up to the top. Some of them were actually running and taking line off the spool. I just come to the conclusion it must have been tench playing with me nuts, basically. I think they must have been just picking them up and running with the rigs, not getting them in their mouths. Although a big tench wouldn't have a problem doing that, but something was picking it up. My money's on tench, running off with it. And then I think the last one was about 4:30 this morning. So I did put in 3 spoms while I was up, a couple of pouches of nuts. And then just after 6, that 22 turned up, and that fought and fought and fought. I was really worried that the hook was going to pull out of it. But I think it must have been a male. It was going and going and going. But what both these fish, the one I lost and this one was, you know, when it pings off the, well, you assume it pings off the dorsal fin, you get that bang on the line. Well, the first one that got off, it was banging, banging, banging all the time. Now, what was quite going on, I thought I'd never experienced it quite as much. The fish I landed was doing a bit of it, but not so bad. But it was keeping low and slow and ponderous. Wasn't having anything I was trying to do. But we won in the end. And it's forecast of rain. It's beginning to drizzle a bit now. But if it stays dry, once I finish my coffee, I'll give you an update on the rigs and the bait. There's not a huge change in the bait, just a little bit. I'm going to finish this while it's dry anyway. I'll get back to you. So it's finally stopped raining. Well, we're down to a very slight drizzle, so I've managed to get out of the bivvy to tell you what I've been up to. Well, the baiting plan for this trip is a continuation basically of the last time I was at Syndicate. The only real changes I've made, I've put a handful of heavily crushed tiger nuts in with the hemp seed and the peanut granules, and I've made up some tiger nut sticks to go on the rigs as they're cast out. Now, if you've been following me for a while now, this will be new to you, but if you are new to it, what I've done is some roughly chopped and cooked tiger nuts, and I've soaked them for a few days in some mainline tiger nut syrup, which is PVA friendly, and some betadine. Incidentally, if you are new to the channel, please feel free to subscribe, like and share, and please, if you want to make a comment. Somebody once said to me, we've all got something to offer, so don't be afraid to make a comment and contribute if you want to. While I'm talking about people getting involved, I'd like to make a personal shout out to Neil Wheater and his wife, who have been watching my videos apparently. Now, I met Neil many years ago when we were running the PAC out of South Wales in the mid-90s, and I haven't seen him since, so thanks for getting in touch, Neil, and thanks for getting involved. Anyway, back to the mix. Now, once I've marinated the nuts for 2 or 3 days, I mix them with some CC Moore milk and nut crush bag mix. Now, put plenty of the mixture in, so what you want to try and do is dry up the nuts and leave them again for a few days to let all that liquid that's left over on the nuts soak into the mixture. Now, if you don't do that, you can leave a bit of moisture there. Well, if you don't use the sticks immediately, you can get a bit of mould coming along. So I let that dry off for a few days as well. Then I make up the sticks. Now for the sticks, I'm using a boilie PVA, and I use a pot to measure out the amount I'm putting in each stick, which kind of gives me a similar sized stick at the end of the day. Now, all of this is prepared at home, but I do bring with me some of the mixture and some spare PVA should I want to make up some sticks whilst I'm on the bank. Now, generally speaking, the rigs are the same as I've been using before, and the nuts are prepared in exactly the same way as I showed you in part 42. What I do is, obviously, I bring some nuts that I'm going to loose feed, so if I need to make any last minute changes, then I've already got some nuts with me. Incidentally, I was not overly keen on calling the slip D rig a slip D rig, because in my opinion it doesn't actually slip, and I was heartened to see Gareth Fareham talking about it in his latest video, and he said it wasn't a slip D because he actually tied it with a no knot, and that's my feelings entirely. Now, if you're talking about a multi-rig or a Johnny Mac rig, that actually does slip, whereas if you've got a D made out of fluorocarbon or nylon, that is a fixed D. So I'm what I'm calling now my Flexi rig, my Flexi D rig. So when I refer to Flexi D rig, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Incidentally, both the fish have come on a Snowman tiger rig, so I'm only putting cork in the top tiger nut and leaving the bottom one as it is, and it's virtually fishing exactly the same as you would if you were fishing a boilie Snowman. And say that's the ones that's taking the fish. So needless to say, all 3 rods are fishing Snowman tiger nut setup at the moment. I'm not saying a lot because I haven't got it under control yet. It's about 3:30, I think, sort of yesterday's bite time actually. I have put out another half a dozen spawns and a few pouches of the nuts. Ooh. And it's the left hand rod that's gone belting off. Dipping into the margins off to my left. Ooh. I don't know what they're doing, but there seems to be a hell of a lot of rolling on the line, much more than I'm used to, which is frightening to say the least. Come on, baby. Come on, play nicely. They don't give up, do they? Thank you, thank you, thank you. I literally just finished talking to you. I put the cameras away because it was starting to drizzle again, and it's drizzling again now. The left hand rod's gone off, although I had moved it off to my left a bit more because there was a bit showing, and more or less but yesterday's bite time. And that £22.10. What an absolute peach of a fish, isn't it? Really lovely. But they fight him like stink. I mean, I've watched bigger fish on the telly, they just give up and come in, but these don't. And they're all three I've had, and the one I lost, have been really winding themselves up on the line and banging it off their fins, frightening the life out of me. But she's landed. And she's very pretty. I'll give her a quick shot on the other side before I get soaking wet. Yeah, we've done all that. There we are. And they're loving the tiger nut snowman. Happy times. Gone shooting off at 100 miles an hour, kited right off to my left. Oh, bouncing. Oh, it's horrible. I've never known so much of it. Really haven't. It's pinging off the reeds. The only good thing about it is they don't like the shallow water there. I won't tell you what's going through my mind. It's kiting right in the bank now. This is exactly what the other one did. Just when you think you're making a bit of ground on them, off they go again. Come on, play nice please. Now the rain started again. Ooh, I've never known can't bounce off their bodies so much as these are. They certainly know exactly what they're doing. Now, I've seen all the videos, you're supposed to just roll over and come in. Oh, it's off its fin again. I tell you, my knees are shaking, my arms are shaking. Come on, enough already. Oh, gee, man. I literally just put the camera away. I was drying it off and the rain tipped down and then the right hand rod went off. I don't know what it is. 4:15, something like that. And another absolute epic battle. 27 pounds and 5 ounces. And I was worrying because the last couple of trips, the fourth fish I've lost. But I didn't lose this one, it was well hooked. And that was on the Snowman. Well, and a slightly different rig. I don't know if you might have noticed when I brought it over the net, but I'll show you later. Let's do the other side. Oh. And like the third one's a really lovely looking fish, really lovely, marvellous. So I've got 2 rods to put back out again, and might give them a bit more bait to eat. Well, I'm sitting in the bivvy waiting for the rain to stop and musing over a few things, and I had a comment on the last video from I think the guy's name was Lenny, asking me the length of my rigs, which I responded to obviously, and I'm sitting here watching TikTok as best as the internet will allow me to anyway, and up pops Danny Fairbrass talking about his super duper wafter rig. So it just got me thinking about the length of rigs and the material I use, and you know me, I like to change things around a bit. So I thought, well, I've got the kit with me, I might as well pass a bit of time and have a go at it. But essentially, I mean, I'm using in the main 30-pound Illusion, and then that's all bright knotted to a bit of 25-pound braid, but Danny's using 25-pound stiff boom and crimping it. Now, I have used crimps in the past and they've been okay, but obviously I've moved off it, so I thought, well, I'll try it, I'll go and give a rig a go. So I made up a 4-inch length of the 25-pound boom, crimped at either end, fished spinner rig style, and I'm using a size 6 long shank trig hook from ESP, and Danny uses one of his patented D-rig attachments, plastic attachments that you slide on the hook, but I didn't do that. I've whipped on a bit of 25-pound braid, same as the other rigs. So the only thing that's really changed is the way the hook is attached to the boom, and the boom stiffness and the boom length. So we're now down to sort of 4 inches. Now, as it was on that I lost a fish last night, and it was on that I had one of the fish this afternoon. So it's faring just as well. They're all out there fishing the Snowman tiger nut. Bleep, bleep. I don't think it was the left-hand rod. There seems to be a lot of... I put it over to the left a bit more, and there's a bit of bubbling going on over there. So I think this thing's moving back and forwards. Anyway, the right-hand rod has got that stiff one on, and we'll see what occurs. But it's had one bite, well, 2 bites. One fish landed, one lost. I didn't lose it. It came off. Remember that. I don't lose fish. It's not my fault. It came off. Now, I did say a couple of videos ago that I was going to do a review on the Thermacell. In fact, the last time I actually used it, I ended up getting, if you remember, bitten on the cheek, which needed medical treatment. Now, whilst not committing himself fully, the doctor did seem to think it might be a spider bite, which is why I had the adverse reaction to it. There it is. I haven't lit the thing yet, and they're on me. Anyway, I've had this about 3 years now. I haven't used it abroad, so I can't say what it's like for those foreign critters, but it seems to certainly work over here for me. You know what? Back in the day, I used to use things like jungle formula, but I was never particularly happy with that, because it gets, once it gets on your hands, there's a potential of it getting on the fish food and certainly on my food, so I wasn't keen on that stuff. But this, I saw this about 4 years ago, I think, so I ended up, I bought one. Off the top of my head, it was retailing about £35. That bleep? No, not a run. All you do is you get the top unit and then you screw it on your own gas canister. Now the gas usage is absolutely minimal. It must have some kind of regulator built into it. And what I tend to use is old canisters that I don't use for cooking anymore because they've lost the main power. So I use those and it lasts for session after session. The gas usage is minimum. So you just screw it on top of your canister. And in the top you insert a pad that's impregnated with the chemicals that deter the mosquitoes and the midges and things, and you use the new one to push out the old one. They start off blue, and then after a night's use they turn white. They don't burn, they're heated up, and it's got an on-off switch to turn the gas on and off. It's got a lighter on the side of it, one click, and then it's got a little viewing window there that you can actually see the gas glowing, which tells you it's on. Now if you listen to some of the blurb, it's supposed to send up a canopy of vapour a couple of metres in diameter around the area to stop you getting bitten, which is obviously invisible, so I've got no way of proving or disproving that. But what I tend to do is just put it at the foot of the door in the bivvy. I wouldn't put it in the bivvy in case it actually, unless you've got a flow of air through the bivvy, I wouldn't recommend it. So I put it by the door to stop things coming in, and if it does put up that canopy around the door, all the better. But 90%, apart from that, what I think was a spider, what the doctor thought was a spider, 99% of the time it seems to work. I don't tend to get bitten as much as I used to. Maybe they don't like old flesh anymore, but it's not the cheapest thing on the planet. I think the pads are about $130 a go, so it's more or less $130 a night. It'll last a good summer night. Don't tend to use it so much in the winter because they're not about so much. But if you wanted to have, if you needed to have it on all day, you probably have to use 2 pads a day. So you've got to work out what you think is value for money on that. So the initial unit I think was £35. The pads are £1.30-ish to replace. But it is working for me. I quite like using it. It's not encouraging to bite me, put it that way. So yeah, not a bad thing. As I say, I've had it 3 years. It seems to be doing what it's supposed to be doing. So it gets a thumbs up from me. Well, I've managed to get out of the bivvy because it stopped raining. Stretched my legs a bit before I take to my pit. It's coming into about 7:30 now, and even though the evening is drawing on, it's actually getting brighter. The light levels have gone up a bit. I think the rain is due to cease, hopefully now, overnight certainly, and tomorrow we're going to be blessed with a bit of sunshine, and hopefully a bit of sunshine on Thursday to pack up in. But it's nice to be out and to be able to stretch your legs a bit, to be honest, without getting soaked. But with a bit of luck, we should get another bite time like we did last night, hopefully. And fingers crossed it doesn't come off this time. We'll see. Here we are, £4:30 in the morning, middle rod again, 28 pounds, 4 ounces, and another pretty looking fish. Getting better as we go along slowly. Fantastic. There you go. Threw up the bits with that. She's got a couple of sores on this, right? I'll put a bit of a propolis on it before she goes back. Happy times. Good start to the day. Well, good morning. Well, for once the weatherman was right. The rain did ease off last night, and it was quite warm actually, even though the clouds disappeared. It's quite warm this morning. It's breeze is only just beginning to pick up. It's been flat calm, and the sun has been out for quite a while now. And yeah, strangely quiet night though. All that interference I was getting Monday night, or was assumed to be tense. None of that happened last night, but of course you're waking up every 3/4 of an hour checking the rods because something must be wrong because you're not getting any indications. It's crazy, isn't it? But then eventually the middle rod zoomed off at 4:30 this morning, and for that lovely 28 pounder. So I haven't really done a lot since then. I've put out a couple of pouches of nuts, so I didn't rush into anything just in case there were a number of fish about. But I have noticed out there this morning there is absolutely no bubbling. There was a fair bit of bubbling going on for most of the day yesterday off to my left, which is where one of the fish came from, and a little bit in front of me, but none of that so far this morning. So I'll leave it for a bit. I'll do my normal early afternoon feed with some of the hemp and a few more pouches of nuts. What I have done is put together a rig with Snowman Brazil nut, and I'll put that out later on after I've baited up for a change and see what happens. Normally the best thing to do with the Brazil nut is to eat it, but it's supposed to be very good, so they say, so we'll give it a crack. Anyway, that's the plan. Nice and relaxed, having fun. Well, the sun is slowly going down off to my right. I've been fed, they've been fed, and they did actually start bubbling again off to my left, sort of mid-water and out towards the island a bit more. But I've had the left-hand rod over there again for, well, up until about 10 minutes ago actually, so nothing occurred, so I put out the last couple of spoms of hemp over the spot, and all three rods are now fishing on the baited area. I got 2 tiger nut snowmen and 1 Brazil nut snowman, just because I can really. We shall see. It's been absolutely steaming today, far hotter than I was expecting. Felt hotter than I need. I was kind of thinking, I don't remember this last year, but on reflection, I didn't actually fish last year because of daily appointments, so no wonder I'm not used to it. But hopefully it'll cool off a bit later. We're due for another dry day tomorrow, so it'd be nice to pack up in the dry for a change. Yeah, looking forward to it. Hopefully something will turn up in the night. If that bubbling continues a little bit and they drift over the baited area, we've got them. I haven't seen much. I've heard a few boshing off to my right round the corner of my swim, and one's come out onto the far left of the island a couple of times, but not as much as they have been. Anyway, this is it. Fingers crossed something's going to happen in the middle of the night. Bit of night photography, make a change. Well, there I was, doing the exercises in the swim. And the left-hand rod, which has only been replaced on the baited spot for, I don't know, half an hour. Oh. I don't understand that, I really don't. Hopefully some of that footage come out. You saw me playing the damn thing. As soon as it stuck his head out of the water, the hook pulled. I can't play him any softer. It's not me. It is not me. It's not me. Here we go. Tiring all this. +2, 22 pounds and 5 ounces. And it's doing all its fighting on the bank. It's on the top. Huge run to start with. But then it all just came in on the top for some reason or other. But yeah, happy times. There you go. She's going to have to go back. She's crazy lively. And yeah, 16 at 12:30. All right, 16 at 12:30, and that doubles 2. Excellent. Well, the final morning has arrived, and I haven't done anything with the rods. I had an early run yesterday, although it's gone past that time. I didn't really want to start flinging the leads around this time of the morning, just in case there's something out there. You never know, I'm going to take a chance. The rods are going to be out for another couple of hours, and that's it anyway, so we'll take a chance. But I've been doing this a while, but even now, once darkness descends, how chaotic can suddenly turn, and things you forget to do, things you should do, but like steaming up lenses and all that sort of caper. But there we are. Used to say years ago when I was boat fishing a lot that you can have the calmest, tidiest boat on the lake, but as soon as a mid-20 pike turns up on board, chaos ensues. And it doesn't matter how many times you've done it, you can still fall for it all. Anyway, I've got to say, a couple of hours left. I'm going to leave them alone. It's nice and calm again this morning. We'll see what happens. Possibly a late run, you never know. Well, that's almost my time here. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have. Thanks for your company on this Journeyman's Tales, and I'll catch you all again soon. Cheers for now.